Hello, family. Welcome back to the African Diaspora News channel. I am Wongel Zelalem, and today we're talking about a young lady sharing her experience being adopted by a white mother and the rules that she had to follow in that house. And when I tell you it's insane out here, it is. It actually, proves the point of those people that talk about how we need to be cautious when we let people adopt kids from a different background, different ethnicity, different culture. We've all heard that argument that we should be cautious. I remember there was a time even when countries like Ethiopia banned or made it hard for other people, other races of people from adopting the kids from Ethiopia. And, you know, w- we've heard good stories about adoption, and there are so many of them, right? But we've also heard horror stories, horrific experiences the adoptive kids share once they have grown and they are adults. So I came across this video of a sister that was adopted by a white mother at the age of 4. I'll let her speak for herself. I have her clip right here. And the number one rule, according to her, that they were given as kids, black kids, might I add, she adopted black kids. And the number one rule she gave them was that they're not allowed to date black men, black boys. And the other rule was that they're not allowed to bring home black friends. You can't make this stuff up. And this is, yeah, let me just play for you. And as we're watching, we're going to talk about more.
Have to follow as an adopted kid to a Caucasian mother in Uganda. I want you to remember, this is a woman, came from the US, went out of her way, got us as children, and took us in so that she can raise us, apparently. From age of 4 to 16, I was in Uganda. Under our mother's rule. Okay, one of the biggest rules we all had to follow, no dating black men. Let me say it again. Remember, I'm on the continent of what? Africa. Where am I? Uganda. Abazungu tugenda bajjawa. His skin is black. Tewali muwasa, tewali mudatinga, sagala mulaba mu nyumba yange. What was even funnier was she was dating.
In case you missed it, what she said in her language is that she used to tell them, "You're not gonna date black men, not in my house." Like, yeah.
African men. She was dating black men, but we are not allowed to date them.
You see, also you see the hypocrisy. She just mentioned something I want to talk about before I let her finish her rules. There's more to come, okay? She said the kids that she adopted, and she had this girl from age 4 to 16. By the way, side note, she doesn't talk to her anymore. Her adoptive mother. She said it was too much for her. Like it was almost like begging for her to love her. That's very sad. How do you adopt a kid and they have to beg for your affection and love? Why did you do it in the first place? It's so bizarre and weird. So she adopts these kids. She's from the US. She's American, an American white woman. She moves to Uganda, adopts these kids. And the rule she gives them is that you're not allowed to bring black boys in my house. And then she goes ahead and dates black men herself. Every day I'm believing the argument that people can be racist and still get married to a black person. It's just weird and bizarre, but it happens.
Kids. Somebody who has black kids, this is what she was saying. For us, we are not allowed to date black men because apparently all they want is and to destroy your life. Give you guys an example. This was my.
So black boys just want something from you and they will destroy your life. But the white lady that moved from the US all the way to Uganda and adopted black kids can still date black men. The weirdness of it all.
experience. This one guy that I liked, and he went to worship harvest. There's a church next to like game and ShopRite. I was like, what, 13, 14? My siblings warned me not to say anything, but I was like, maybe she has changed. So I have a crush on this boy because for us we didn't see color. She said, okay, we never went back to that church for about 2 years. We were not allowed to have black friends. Let me elaborate on that.
So it gets worse, as I said earlier. Um, and again, there's more, so I'll play more of her clip. But she's not only allowed, the kids are not only allowed to, they're not allowed to bring in uh, black boys, but they also are not allowed to make friends with black kids. And they are living in Uganda, East Africa, in Africa, right? So, one, they're not allowed to date black boys because they'll destroy your life, right? But then even friendships, they can't be friends with black kids. I let's just let her finish and then we'll talk.
Were black friends. Let me elaborate on that. Unless your parents were Caucasian and you were adopted. That was the exception.
So there's a you're not allowed to bring black friends to her house, to this white lady's house, but there's a but. If they are adopted like these kids and the adoptive parents are white, then you're allowed to hang out with those kids.
I went to Ugandan schools in primary 4 and primary 5 and baby class. I think the other times I was homeschooled, which means I studied at home. I hated it. All the friends we made, they were not allowed to be at our house. If our mother was there, tried to saw about it, we could only bring them home when our mom had gone to the US to visit, because then we could actually be ourselves. Whenever I would bring friends home, she would keep an eye out as if they are going to steal something. And the other example,
What a weirdo. Like, how do you adopt? That's the thing. You can, you know, be a hateful person, be an anti-black, racist, be what you want to be, right? But be that over there in your own country, or even if you're coming here, don't mingle with the rest of the people if you have to, if you must. But why in the world are you adopting black kids and teaching them that dating their own is wrong, having friends that look like them is wrong? Because guess what, they'll steal from you. They're like, she's literally raising these kids to hate themselves, right? She's raising them to hate where they come from, who they are.
Damita, please come in the comments. I've never told Damita this story. Same church. Damita girl, her name is Damita. I find her very funny, very awesome, and everything like that. A few months go by, and I'm like, I'm going to introduce her to my mother. My mother meets Damita. She shook your hand. We are chuka, like this. And as she was walking away, she looked at me. Nangamba, why is she black? You have to date white men. Have to have white friends. Unless their parents are Caucasian and they're adopted, then you're good. Cannot bring.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm laughing because I'm just getting so frustrated by this conversation. She is like, I'll remind you. Someone asked, where does she live? The white lady that adopted this girl is American. She went to Uganda, adopted black kids, and uh, refused them from having a relationship with black kids. Also, they're not allowed to have black friends. But on top of that, when she is introduced to her friend, and she is black in Uganda, obviously, majority 90, I don't know, 99% of the people are black. So when she meets the friend, she asks her why is she black. You can't tell me this woman was doing this on purpose, trying to make these kids hate themselves. That's what she was trying to do. You can't be the grown up in this scenario and ask a kid, why is your friend black? Why is she.
Bring around any black guy to our mother. Even if he is adopted, still that part of. Even to this day, if I'm to marry a black man, my mother will not show up. My mother is not invited to the wedding, eh? So. Mama Afe, was black people are not good enough in every form of way.
So she said it in a different language, but in case you can't read the subtitles, she's saying for her mother, black people are less than in every single way, like in every way. She didn't think they were capable enough. They were beneath, basically, white people, the same woman that adopted black kids.
We got adopted every single day. You know who did something wrong about your color, your country, and you're like, why are you here? I want to clarify by saying I'm not cheating on my mother. She cheated on her own self. Yeah, my nini, yeah, you know us. The truth hurts, and some people are uncomfortable. Is what it is. A lot of people didn't come to our house.
She asked a really great question before she ended the video. Why are you here? Like, you hate our culture, you hate our skin tone, our color, you hate who we are. So why are you here? Because it's not like this kid went to our country, or she was forced to adopt these kids. She made this decision as an adult to go to this country, to an African country, predominantly black, okay? 99 probably, unless maybe you count the expats and a few people that stayed there during colonization and all that. So she made that decision, and she raised those kids. And I'm so grateful, though, like when this girl talks, you can clearly hear that she's okay. I mean, she's self-aware. I'm still surprised how she managed to do that. Maybe because she was raised in Uganda, and maybe like the society or the people, their neighbors, the nannies, had something to do with it, like to help her still believe in herself and still feel beautiful and still be content with herself. Because at the end of the day, I think that will mess with any child. You will need a therapist. You will need a lot of psychological help if someone like that raised you, hated who you are, what you represent, your skin color, your people. And they were supposed to be a figure, like a guiding figure, a guardian in your life. Of course, it's going to mess up with you. And you can also tell, and I've seen in the comment section, this young lady says she doesn't talk to her mother, her adoptive mother, anymore. And she said she got tired of like begging for her love, or like for her to show her affection. And so, she cut her off. And even in this clip, she talks about how if she marries a black man, her mother will be pissed. But then again, she's not going to invite her to the wedding anyways. That tells you that this girl, you can only imagine what she has gone through. And she's not the only kid that she adopted. So, with that being said, I think there needs to be stricter laws, especially in these African countries, when it comes to vulnerable kids. Kids, I mean, we're the ones to protect them, right? It's the adults that need to make the change, that need to enforce laws, that need to protect the kids. The kids don't know any better, right? They have no say. So I think the most important conversation to have is, this story is not, like a one instance thing. It has been happening, and we've been hearing even horror. uh, there was this young girl, I remember, that made it all over the news because she was unalived by her adoptive parents, and she was taken from Ethiopia, if I'm not mistaken. And the neglect, the abuse she faced. So, as much as there are positive stories when kids get adopted, there are this horror stories as well. So, how are we protecting the kids? And honestly, maybe if you've studied psychology, anybody here in the comment section, if you're a doctor or whatever, like if this is your profession, I really want you to tell us, explain to us the psyche of, like, how does this work, that you hate a race, right? You do not like them, and you still go and live in their country, in their communities, adopt their kids and raise their kids, only to ensure that they hate themselves and their own people. Like, what is behind that? I thought adoption is one because you want to help other people, you want to raise kids, those that are less fortunate than you, and some parents can't have their own, so they're more than willing to raise kids that are either orphans or their parents can't raise them. So they I always thought it's just such a selfless act. a selfless, because it's not just selfless, of course. It's because you also want a feedback, a love. You want to give love and you want to take love from that kid and you want to raise them as your own. So it's mind-boggling to me that you go all the way over there and adopt these kids, go through all that to only hate them, instill self-hate in them. So bizarre, and as I said earlier, it makes me think of the arguments some people make. Some of these people are anti-black, but they will still go ahead and marry you and have kids with you, and then the kids will grow up questioning themselves, their identity, not feeling like they belong, because of the same reason, because of who raised them and what they've been told every day. Imagine, as a kid, you're growing up and you're being told all these things, like you're not enough, your people are this or that. I can only imagine what kind of impact it has. And when you grow up, I think you have to make an effort to remind yourself that that's not true, and to unlearn all the hatred that has been instilled in you by your adoptive mother. So it's extremely unfortunate. It's really sad to hear her story, but she seems to be doing okay and well, and good for her. But as I said earlier, there are many kids that didn't make it out alive as well. There's to the point where some countries had to stop um, the adoption process. And there are others that we all know, like these celebrities. I know Madonna has two, if I'm not wrong, Malawian, or three Malawi kids from Malawi. Angelina Jolie has one from Ethiopia and like Asia and other countries. We know who else? Charlize Theron, but she's South African, white South African. She has adopted a boy. Now he's a girl, because she says he identifies as a girl. He told her at the age of 3 or 4. And now yeah, she dresses him up as a girl and everything. And we know Madonna. Angelina Jolie, to be fair to her, and Brad Pitt, the kids don't talk to the dad though, with their mother. And whenever they appear in this red carpet, what is it, like, events, they seem very, I don't know, from all the adopted kids I've seen, they seem very normal, is the right way to put it. But of course we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. So honestly, we need to protect our most vulnerable, and those are our kids. Those are the kids. Yeah, let me get into the chat. Let me see what you guys are saying. Robert said she is sent as a plan to mix blacks with whites. Who's that? What are we talking about, Robert? I don't know. Maybe I missed. Wait, what did we talk about? We're talking about, I think you commented this before we started the conversation, maybe. Um, but I don't, okay, I disagree. I don't think that's the case, because the lady quite literally did not like black people. I don't know why she adopted kids, and she wouldn't allow them to date others. So, oh wait, you're saying, okay, excuse me, Robert. I think you're okay. So you believe the white lady, that the adoptive mother, is there to mix the kids with white people. But why would they do that? Like, I mean, what's the agenda? I thought, okay, you let me know. Elaborate a little bit more before I misunderstand you again. Rick said, greetings. Greetings to you too. Brian said, white supremacist mentality. Yeah, I get that part and I agree with you. The part where it's just like not adding up for me is, if you're as you said, a white supremacist, why don't you just stay with your own? Why don't you just adopt white kids? I'm pretty sure there's so many white kids that need a home in America, right? Why don't you raise them and teach them your values and principles and how they shouldn't be mixing and with blacks? And why don't you do that in your own, on your own side? Why come to Africa and create such a hostile environment for these kids that didn't ask for it? They just thought they were given a home, right? Hassan said, which country does she live? The adoptive mother, America. She comes from America, and she adopted them in Uganda, and they lived in Uganda. But right now, if you're asking the young girl, I believe America. I think I saw that somewhere. Renz, hello, hello there. DJM said, setting that child up for failure and psychological problems later. Exactly what I'm saying. Exactly. That, and she's an adult, right? When she's doing this. So it was not subtle as well. Like she was not doing it subtly like the way the girl said. Like it was a rule that was given. And it was communicated to them that like your people are like this, your people are like that, your people. So she did it on purpose, clearly. That's what, because sometimes people will show their true colors without meaning to, right? And it's very, very subtle. But this one, I wouldn't say. I feel like this lady wanted them to know that they're that and they're this and they're different and they're beneath her race. So yeah, she was definitely up to um, setting them up for failure. And I pray that all of them did not fall for that, and they rose above it, or found the help that they need, or they found the balance in other people, in their communities around them, in the schools that they go to. I really hope that no one was messed up forever. Muaki said, that is the main reason why Democratic Republic of Congo halted intercountry adoption since 2013. Exactly. I knew a few countries did that. I don't have the numbers right now, but I'm pretty sure you can have access to it if you Google and check which countries. I know Ethiopia did, but yeah, DRC is good to know. DRC did that too. And with all the stories that we've been hearing recently, with all the files that have been released and everything, like there's so many sinister things going on, even outside of people's prejudice and discrimination. There's losing lives as well, and being used for other reasons than you being raised in a family. So there's like quite, that's why I'm calling it horror story without getting into it. Some kids didn't make it out alive. So I'm glad DRC banned it. And it's so sad that people are so evil. They are blocking someone else's blessing, because there are good people that adopted, and we've heard the stories, but because of this evil people, they are making it bad for everyone. Hey, Suzanne. Wandiaki, right, said, Shalom family. Because her mother had a bad relationship with black men, she's teaching her children to stay away from black men. But that's the weird part, though. She's not, it's not in the past tense. This girl said the lady dates black men for herself, but still instills um, this horrible ideology and horrible mentality to the kids. Like, she does it herself. She can't help it. If they're so bad, how come you're still dating black men, right? That's the real question. That's why I do believe this lady was not just, projecting. Sometimes it happens, yeah? All of us, it happens to us whenever we experience something, we feel like we generalize and we say, this is bad, even though maybe it's just a single experience or like one incident. But it's not giving that. Like this lady is just, in all the ways that the young girl described, she is not just projecting, she's programming these kids. And as someone put it, um, setting them up for failure. Raymond said madness. I agree with you. I agree. Mark said, my friend dated a girl that was adopted. She was biracial, and they was trying to get her to only date white guys. Is so bizarre to me, especially from the black side. I find it even order, right? You went and chose someone else, but then your kids, even your kids, you want them to choose based on your choice, right? That tells me like there was something that you needed to deal with within yourself before you should have started a family. Because why are you hell bent in painting a whole community, the community that you come from, in such a horrible light, and to the point where you're forcing your kids into, dating other people that are not from your own community? What does that say about you? It's, if we look back, I'm pretty certain most of these times, if you look back in their history, how they were raised, who raised them, it started somewhere there. The same thing, I'm talking about this young girl. Someone sat them down and told them, your people are like this, you are like this. So they'll do anything and everything to change that. They'll do everything they can to basically erase the blackness from even their kids and their grandkids, which is a sad place to be, honestly. Very, very sad. Oracle Queen said, stop allowing them to adopt your kids. Agreed. I agree with you. Martia said, peace. Peace to you too. Michael said, you tell someone they can't do something. You tell someone they can't do something. What do you mean by that? Brian said the kids wouldn't be up for adoption if there wasn't something going on with the family. Someone is unfit, absent or deceased. That is true. Of course, like people that get adopted, it's either their parents gave them up or it's like a young, usually they're either orphans. But the other scenario is teen pregnancy, like the girl will get pregnant, she doesn't know what to do, so she knows she can't raise the kid and provide for the kid, so she'll give him up for adoption. If she doesn't have support, like her parents are not going to support and raise the kid, because you see she doesn't have work, she doesn't even know how to take care of herself because she's a young girl, so they usually give it up. That is those that choose to keep the pregnancy. Unfortunately, in some cases they take other options. So yeah, clearly those kids were in a vulnerable state. They needed a home, but the home they went to is this lady's. Dr. Livingston said 73% of Black American children are born out of wedlock without father present in the child's life. You're lucky people adopt them. Yeah, but the thing is, fam, if they're adopted in this kind of scenario, right? Someone that really hates their race. Why do they adopt? I don't know. As I was asking earlier, I have no clue why they do that if they have certain feelings about a group of people. But then if they end up getting unalived, abused, in this case, being taught that they're not worth anything. So when they grow up, again, as someone said, setting them up for a failure and self hatred, who's to say that's any good? Hassan. Uh, well, Hassan, you have strong words. I think you're responding to Dr. Livingstone. Oh, you said focus on your. Stop projecting. CDC says only 4% absentee fathers in the Black community. Stick to the coloring and the. Oh, that's good. I didn't know. Like, I'm not in the position to Google or search, so I was taking the figure I was given as a fact. So it appears that that's not the case. Okay, good to know. Martia, it's done by design. Mhm. Brian is responding. Yes, community disruption, poverty, educational limits for areas based on taxes, lack of opportunities for certain communities, trauma, and infighting. Boogie said you keep posting racist. Dr. Livingston, The black family was targeted for destruction by US government programs. It was intentional. The destruction of black identity in the USA is intentional. Yeah, so I guess they want to bring it to Africa as well. So because why is she in Africa, right? Why is she in Africa adopting kids and sharing what we shared? Like, well, why? What's the point? I guess that's why I said I don't think it's just projection, and I don't think it's just a micro, you know, aggression, is that the word that they use? Like, it's not. I don't think that was the case. I think this was deliberately done, and it's sad. It's very, very sad to see. Oracle said exactly. Is going. Okay, I guess some people are having their own conversation, which is fine. Feel free, just keep it respectful. Um, yes. So, hello, Buck. Yeah. Oh, discerning truth said single mother doesn't equate absent father. Actually, Black American men are more involved than other demographics. Look it up. I need to look that up because we don't want people to tell us a figure, and then if it's going to paint the wrong painting or a picture, we don't want that. Anyways, thank you for watching this, fam. But yeah, clearly we need to revisit this adoption policies, laws when it comes to our kids. They're the most vulnerable, and we need to protect them. Okay. Anyways, fam, I'll see you tomorrow, same time. Stay blessed. Bye.